So this is it, season finale. Senior day, can you just talk, it's a little different now that it's not like you've all been together for 4 years.
Yeah.
But can you just talk about the seniors on this team and what you expected from them coming in and how they've been able to bond together for this season?
This senior day will probably feel, at least for me, what a normal senior day feels like. And I say that because these guys have had such an impact this first year for us and for the program. And for me, being a first-time coach, so just kind of starting this and honestly building it with them. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were the 3 first recruits that we got to kind of build the team around and build the team through. And so it will be what a normal senior day used to feel like. So for those 3 guys, they've been a huge part of why we've been able to have some success this year and building the foundation of what we want this to look like moving forward.
I want to ask one follow-up. When you were approaching, did you approach all 3 at the same time? Was there one that was the anchor that brought the other 2? Like what was the order?
For me and how I wanted to play, I started with Malik. And then when we were going through Malik, and then when Malik committed was right when Trey went in the portal. And then we got on the phone right away with Trey and their relationship. And then Ernest was somebody I had recruited prior. And so when he went into the portal, he was somebody I knew that I wanted to build this with and build it apart. So it kind of fell like in a domino. And then I think True and Sheldon and Dante kind of followed after that. And then we kind of built it from there.
Coach, what with the foundation with these guys? I know, I've heard you speak recently that you don't know who's coming back, just the nature of everything. But in particular, those 3 guys, what are you hoping can be the foundation of what they've showed this year, regardless of who's on the roster, I guess?
I think the biggest thing is just winning and being able to win here at Miami and compete in the ACC and being the top 4 of the ACC, moving forward in the top half of the league, put yourself in position to play in the tournament every year, hopefully. And then also with just the nature of where college athletic is, where transfers can come here and have success and come here and get better and enhance their numbers and enhance what they did at their schools before. So all of that is important, and all of it ties into everything that we want to do here and kind of everything we want to do moving forward. So that's why those 3 guys are really important, along with Dante, True, and Shelton. Dante and Sheldon showing freshmen that they can play here and that there's the ability to come and play right away, whether you were highly recruited or not. Like if you fit what we're trying to do, we'll play you. And the same thing with True Washington, who was a starter and had success. How you can come here and no matter what the role is, you also get to stay yourself a little bit, which is kind of most important in this day and age. You don't want to go anywhere where you change too much. Of course, you have to change no matter where you're at, but you don't want to change too much. So all of it's tied back into winning and recruiting and maintaining, I guess is the biggest way to put it.
Jay, how do you know that a kid has that in them? Because a lot of kids, they're skilled, but they're hard.
Yeah, you have to really, really do your background and do your research. I think one thing that we had the benefit of this year is that it was a bunch of people that we had recruited prior to. Like I had a relationship with Ernest and recruited him. Eric, myself, and also CY had a relationship with Malik, and I recruited him. And then Trey had a relationship with CY, and there was a lot of, and I've known True and his family for years. So there was a lot of built-in relationships, but then also just the pedigree, where they're coming from, who they played for. So you have Trey, who's won conference tournaments everywhere he's been. Ernest played for Jamie Dixon, who's a great coach, but also started at Kansas, was a McDonald's All-American. So the talent and the kind of skill pedigree and is all there. And then Malik, playing at the University of Indiana, and being at a blue blood, I understand the pressure that goes with having to win at levels like that. True Washington won 2 conference championships, played in the NCAA championship, played with an All-American, so he's played with other really good players. And then what Dante and Sheldon and all those guys did kind of speaks. And that's what you have to build it. You have to build it around people who have won and people who value winning and understand what that's about.
Is it hard to find that in high school guys?
No. It's the same formula, kind of. You have to build it with, what have they done? Dante won 3 Peach Jam championships. He won to Montverde. He won at Riviera. He comes from just a makeup of winning. So you just have to do your homework. I guess one thing with freshmen that you have to be and make sure you do is, at least my perspective, kind of how we built it, is physically. They got to be ready to play in the games. And Dante and Sheldon physically, along with Solid, are physically able to play in the games.
Coach, to kind of piggyback on that question, when you're evaluating high school players, how much of a balance is there between, or what is the balance between on-court evaluations and the background stuff, like getting to know this kid as a person, getting to know what type of person you're adding to the program? Just what's the balance of that?
I mean, I would say 70-30 is the person, because you can bring in somebody that doesn't fit and it ruins everybody else. So you gotta make sure you bring in the right people, because each year is its own year, you know what I mean? So you bring in somebody, even if it's a freshman. Of course, you bring them in thinking you're gonna get them for 4 years, but it's just not how it goes anymore. So for that year, you gotta make sure all the pieces fit. And it's a gift and a curse the way we do it here. I'm kind of leaning more towards the smaller rosters, because it gives everybody the opportunity to understand what their role is and give as much clarity. You know, once you have a few injuries, you end up with 6-7 people. But also, I think when you get to March and you get later in the season, everybody has grown and developed and gotten comfortable with, you know, okay, I can expect my 27 minutes, my 23 minutes. They get comfortable in what they're doing, and you have a better chance of becoming a team that way, at least in my opinion.
What's going to be your message to those 3 seniors? Will likely be a pretty emotionally charged atmosphere.
Yeah.
Will it be to stay level-headed and stay measured, or will it be kind of feed off of that adrenaline and fire that they may feel?
Just to stay level-headed, and just it's a normal day. You know, we're honoring them, but it still is a normal day and a normal game, and we're trying to keep it as normal as possible, and also understanding it's not in the same sense. So kind of talk about it, embrace it, and then kind of go from. I'm sure the first 10 minutes will be, you know, all over the place, but once we settle in the game and once we get going, to just continue to be who we are. But all senior days are hard because of the emotion and everything that comes with it.
What do you expect from Louisville? And also want to ask Nome coming on the last 2
Yeah.
games. At this point in the season, how important is that, and how big of a factor will that be, do you think, tomorrow? If you can you keep that going 4 threes?
I hope so. I hope so. You know, Louisville, of course, you know, just as a program, they're one of the greatest programs ever in college basketball in the history of players have had, championships have won, coaches that they've had, everything that's going through there. Pat Kelsey's done a great job. You know, he did a great job last year. Doing a great job this year. Put them in position to, you know, be in the tournament and compete. You know, they have a lot of shooting all over the court. They have a lottery pick, you know, freshman guard. You know, their backcourt is kind of the strength of their, I guess, team. And then offensively, you know, we talked about this with SMU. They're probably like the notch up. It's not a knock on SMU. I just think they're a notch up offensively of what they're able to do and what they're capable of doing. So they put a lot of stress on you that way. And then their speed and their pace and their shooting, because they got McNeely, Conwell, Woolley. It's everywhere. So I think that's the biggest thing with them. And then with Nome, you know, biggest thing with Nome is just staying ready. You know, so these last 2 games, Timo's been kind of banged up and been out, and he's kind of stepped in and taken that, and then his shooting has just stretched the floor and gave us some separations in the game. Like in SMU, I thought it created a big gap for us. You know, we didn't do a good job of keeping it, but it created the gap, and so hopefully he can keep it going.
Coach, just expanding on Louisville, the style of play, them getting threes, the way you guys do the paint stuff, just the game itself, maybe the challenge and what it could look like and just differences.
No, yeah, it's a clash of styles, definitely a clash of styles, but it'll be an exciting game, it'll be an entertaining game. You know, one thing about this week, I feel like the SMU game will help prepare us for Louisville and what we're gonna see. A little bit different, but kind of same conceptually how they play. But, you know, with Louisville, just like SMU, it's a game that I think they're still fighting for seeding. I don't know where they are. I think it's like a tiebreak or something. Same for us. We're not fighting for seeding, but we're fighting for everything we want, and we still got to go attack it. So I expect them to be at a high level. I expect them to play with great urgency and desperation, and coming in and trying to get a win.
It could be a team we could see next week as well.
Yep.
Just the oddity of that and like the possibility of seeing them again.
Yeah, you know, I haven't even thought about that part of it. You know, it's just getting ready for them the first time. But you know, each game is different, so it's hard. You know, some things you carry over from game to game, but you know, people get in foul trouble. Some people making shots that game, some people not making shots. So it's hard to kind of I guess the things that will be the same is kind of what they do. You know they're gonna shoot 35 threes, and they're gonna spread you out and run a bunch of different stuff on offense. So just adjusting and trying to teach it more in concepts than actual like guarding, I guess is the biggest thing for them and biggest thing moving forward, because you have 1 day turnarounds, 2 day turnarounds when you get in tournament play. So this is where your base defense and everything you've taught throughout the year really has to show up for you.
Coach,
Work out more.
Coach, you talked about the simulation that you've had, like tournament week style.
Yeah.
Have you seen that, I guess, with the team response? You have SMU, now Louisville, and you might see them again later on. But how is that, I guess, message going towards the team and how they've responded?
Dave, it's been good. It's been good, and this is just preparing them for where we are at this part of the season. So whatever we play on Saturday, whatever happens, everything we've done is over. You know what I mean? So whatever our record is, we've done a good job. We put ourselves in position, but now it's time to turn the page and get to the next chapter, which is tournament play, survive and advance. So the way this season set up in this last season, I thought it was perfect. This last week, I thought it was perfect to kind of simulate what a tournament will be, and having to play 2 really good teams and beat 2 really good teams on a shorter week, and not having a break in between. So it was perfect for us. But I think the guys have responded well.
With the
Timo doing? Just how Timo, any update on Timo?
Timo's doing good. We're still trying to get him back. He just had his back kind of just locked up on him, and they had him where he can't really function to his best of his ability. And so we're just merely taking it day by day. So he's doing a little bit more. He did a little bit more yesterday than he did the day before. Get a better look at him today, and then kind of go from there.
What did it mean to have Marcus on the bench Wednesday night and in the locker room?
Yeah.
To celebrate the double bye?
I mean, it's always great to have him around. He's a big part of this team, always have been a big part of this team. His voice, his presence just lifts everybody up. We had to stay away for a little bit because we had a little bit of a cold flu outbreak. So he couldn't be around for a little bit. What was that, Boston College or before Boston College? Something like that. We had a little bit going on. So we had to keep him away, but whenever he's around and can be around, we want him around because he's just one of those people you always want to be around.
Coach, how pivotal has the development or the assistant staff been in developing these players? We've seen the uptick in 3-point shooting over the course of the season with guys like Coach Adrian Moran and Deshaun. How pivotal they've been in developing these players and really getting the best out of them?
They've been huge. Because it's the one thing when you do have smaller rosters is you're banking on these guys getting better and developing throughout the year. And so I feel like our staff's done a great job with that, and it's starting to show. Like one thing's like Ernest with his free throws, True's 3-point shooting, Sheldon's finishing around the rim, Trey's decision making. All these things are part of development, and the staff has done a great job of just being in the gym, being around them, buying into the relationships, which is a big part of what we do here. And through those relationships, you're able to develop, coach them, and get them better. And that's all you ask.
Coach, just 1 win, and you'll have the best regular season as a head coach here at the University of Miami, and that'll only be year 1. Is that something that goes through your mind, or have you even thought about something like that? Or
I haven't thought about it. We had just had like my favorite lunch and cupcakes brought in there, like happy anniversary. And I'm like, I was married in August. It's not my anniversary. But I didn't even know what it was until they told us. And somebody mentioned that what you said before. For me, it's just the recognition that I wants to go to the guys. So if winning 25 games gets Malik first team all ACC, or gets Ernest all defense, and gets Drew and that recognition, then that comes with it. Everything comes with winning, and that's what I've told the guys the whole year. Everything we want comes with competing and winning and putting ourselves in position to win, just like that. So for me, it's fine, but if it goes and it gives them things that help them and advance them and help their basketball careers and gives them some type of confidence and satisfaction, that's all I ask for as a coach.
Right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Good luck.
Thank you.